Do you remember the first few lines of the poem I wrote for you? The lines that held every essence of my love for you. The lines which were meant only for you, and no matter how much anyone else could relate, their allegiance lied with you. Do you remember you once told me that I talk in riddles? I knew you weren't good at solving them, and that gave me such happiness. Don't get me wrong, but I was happy because I could confess my love for you, and you would never know that I did. Do you remember the day I had swollen eyes? I said I couldn't sleep last night, and you never bothered to ask me why. Well, I had been crying because I was helpless and hopeless, for you'd never understand how it felt to love someone and not be loved back. Do you remember you told me how happy you were, for I had started smiling again, though you never really knew why I stopped in the first place? Do you? Anyways, now that I have, I'd like to tell you why. Because I realized love was meant to be unconditional, and that there is nothing more beautiful than loving without expecting it back. Do you remember you told me how beautiful I looked the day I wore the dress that you had bought me? I believed that I actually did, because there was nothing more satisfying than knowing that it had come from you. I felt beautiful because you told me so. Do you remember the day you went away for your job and told me you'd stay there? I was happy that you were living your dream, but I was also scared to admit that my heart had shattered into pieces, knowing that you wouldn't be there to see me tomorrow. Do you remember how we talked over video chat for hours? You'd never know how hard I tried to keep it calm and normal, for my heart was almost leaping out of my mouth. Do you remember the day you told me how much I meant to you and that you were scared to let go? I wanted to tell you how scared I was, for you had never known how I had lived this fear every single day. The fear of being forgotten, the fear of being unloved. Do you remember when I told you I wanted to tell you something? By something, I meant a solution to all those riddles that you could never solve, a disclosure to the muse in my poems, an answer to all your questions. But I didn't, because I had been waiting for this day, to have you here beside me in flesh and blood, and not in any virtual screen, to shut you up and make you listen to my heart's rantings, to tell you that my dreams that you so ardently try to decipher, my listless hummings that you so eagerly eavesdrop upon, and the poems that you so much adore have one thing in common. They have always been about you. Always.